here, Yumi Totok Lokisim 500 plus policemen and Mary come inside next year. Good Prime Minister. Yumi got problem one time. All police man and Mary inside barracks across the country. I am also not qualified lo totok because province lo mi yet. Mino got one police headquarters na me too. Mino got one barracks lo police lo central province. So Mino qualified, Mr. Assistant Speaker, lo make him this statement or this ask him. But me got two questions tasol. But before me ask him, me like sharing one legal example. Barracks lo Waigani or Morata barracks, emi approximately 1 kilometer from here, Parliament House. Now the sad state of affairs is that there was a time when police pass out college, they were forced into living in that barracks, 5 people to a room. As we speak, these people still stay in that barracks. Only got married, they are no more single. All staff married, creating a lot of pressure on your department.
Honourable Member, you come straight to the question.
Thank you, Assistant Speaker. I thought by way of giving some legal background and by assisting Minister Luxavelo, the genuineness of my question. So, police, you mean by training all? Now, question number 1, all by silib lo way. You mean got some way forward lo, by you mean Luxavelo, building barracks all past time, you mean Salim all go inside college to come out? And question number 1. Number 2, question number 2, Minister, there was a government intervention program where all call him, some play all go finish, all call him police modernization program. Mr. Speaker, if the good minister is aware of that program, this program, Emi only introduce him, government introduce him, look kind of some barracks na, or heavy police. This program, unfortunately, Emi is stalled away somewhere, collecting dust. So in a good Prime Minister, revisit him or suppose Emi aware, informing Parliament where this modernization program of police go. Thank you, Mr. Assistant Speaker.
Minister for Internal Security.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Me like talk thank you, long Honorable Casimero, Member Bloyumilo Goilala. Tupla good question, but me go straight long answer him. Honorable Member, as you know, this talk Bloyumi long beef him up, please. Time you may consider him, you may work on recruiting more new police, and me holistic understanding of entry na exit. Whilst we're looking at putting new policemen and women into the force, we must also cater for the exit of the current manpower. So time you ask him lo displa long housing, housing has been captured in part of our plan for the entry of new policemen and the exit of the old. One of the biggest challenges is being able to cater for the welfare of our men and women in the force. So me can assure you, inside long this plan Blayumi, within the next 5 years or 4 years within our government, these are the fundamental areas of the work carried out in not only beefing up our force, but ensuring that the welfare of our men and women in the force are being taken care of. So me fully understand him, this la challenge me got. Now inside long one white paper where me circulate him, it also talks about the welfare and the housing, obviously that part of the welfare of our staff that we're going to be recruiting. Part of the police modernization plan, which was captured before, I believe this was a discussion around, really modernizing our police force, and so the current white paper that I have circulated, Long Yumi Olgata, is part of that modernization program has been captured into that white paper. So mi hope se mi can capture him this la tupla question you ask him. Na mi talk thank you. And I also thank each and every one of you for putting all your effort in putting together your policing plan, because that's fundamental. Na mi important strat lo yumi long. Got full visibility long how by yumi helping yumi yet long side long law and order. Thank you, Deputy Speaker.
Honorable Opposition Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for allowing me to direct this question without notice to the Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, my question relates to Papua New Guinea's own honors system known as the Orders of Papua New Guinea and the British Imperial Honors. The recognition of our citizens and leaders in all walks of life by awarding them for their services is the least the country can do to recognize their selfless services to their communities, society, and country. Mr. Speaker, the administration of the processes, the honors and awards are set out in the regulations of the orders. And this regulation is very strict, Mr. Speaker, as it does not allow for the politicization of the award system, meaning that the council was established by the then Her Majesty, the Queen, is supposed to operate freely of political and bureaucratic influences. And as per the letters of patent instrument, His now Majesty the King is a sovereign and head of both the Orders of Papua New Guinea and the Imperial Honors. My questions to the Prime Minister are as follows. 1. Prime Minister, to you, Mr. Speaker, can you confirm or deny that Buckingham Palace has suspended the honors and award systems to Papua New Guinea amid certain consents? 2. And whether that part of the reasons relate to the wholesale removal of the previous council members and chairmen by Cabinet in 2020 without following the regulations. And 3. And that such actions has now exposed the council to the whims of Cabinet and therefore political influence, something that concerns Buckingham Palace and also against the regulations. 4. And whether the current makeup and composition of the council no longer meets the composition prescribed in the regulation. Mr. Speaker, this is an important issue since the Constitution and the regulations of the orders were drafted in tandem with Buckingham Palace. My final question is, so does the Prime Minister have any plans to rectify this matter, if indeed this is the case? Thank you, Mr. Assistant Speaker.
Honorable Prime Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Assistant Speaker. Me also congratulate him, you, Silan Losia, Lon morning. Let me appreciate the question from the opposition leader on the honors and award process and procedures. Let me assure him and this House and our country there is no political interference in the honors and awards program, the process. A few years back there was some concern, even predating 2020, on the manner in which the awards were processed, especially at the board level. We had a look at the entire structure. It is still distant from political interference and control. The awards committee is headed by, I think, a representative from the Council of Church and the various bodies that sit in the honors and awards committee. We have looked at that. It is far from any, in terms of political control over that board. It's an independent, totally independent process. When nominations are given for members to be citizens and exemplary citizens, distinguished citizens, to be considered for awards, that independent body checks, and it comes back to Prime Minister as the last person in terms of formality, just to give clearance for the names to be progressed. And so I think the independence of the process is maintained. There was some concern a few years back that has been rectified. We restored the full independent process, and there is no political interference in the entire process. It has been restored to what it was before, or should be, and it is now functional. But to satisfy the opposition leader fully, I will relook at what is happening, get a written reply to the opposition leader. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Member for Maniame.
Law give time law all people lo Maniame. Question without notice lo me go law State Enterprise Minister. Suppose seminar staff minap me direct him go law Prime Minister lo yumi.
Honorable Member, I think Prime Minister is here to respond to your question. You may go ahead.
Thank you, Acting Speaker. Question in regards to now time block Christmas na plenty general public but travel lo balus yumi ogata and plenty blo yumi saveron lo balus na yumi go lo place blo yumi na all workman also go lo balus lo one place blo na now yumi look savo same time block Christmas na and you guinea charging plenty fee penalty fee na case handling fee and work law, charging law, traveling public na. Plenty man meri all work law, simbagarab law this law fee. All man meri all staff law place sample law no kadim account law by Ron go come. Na time all lago sim ticket all dogimo law go you sim account law sample we only kadim account lem. Now this line ni kadi account lem all work law charging fee and top law this law fees. Na plenty man meri only finding big heavy law. Travel lo balus when you gini charging more this blafin now time block Christmas too na me looking more some and you gini a ticket to work log one tap so question from me go lo State Enterprise Minister or go lo Prime Minister or some SOE ministry but making one of something or emoklo making one of help him or this law man Mary you me talk or some and you gini company law state all man Mary stop na inablo yimi alvimol yimi woklo bagarabi mol man meri blo yimi stop na chargimo lo big la money hefty cost instead of yimi alvimol this blol man meri suppose same company blol man meri yimi alvimol man meri na lari mol ron go kam lo wene ma bol la golem. Thank you, Mr. Assistant Speaker.
Honorable Prime Minister.
All right, thank you, Assistant Speaker. Me like to thank you, lo member blo minimal lo ask him this good question. On behalf of all people and general traveling public, I'll get Air Niugini and to look into this issue. In my view, from where I sit, Air Niugini has a cost structure and a requirement of them to operate at certain level. They may not be there to necessarily reduce the price if the cost structure is such where they cannot reduce the price, but if there is any space in as far as giving relieving people, traveling public, all can make him. Bambla tram asking Air Niugini, but them something them stablo control all Air Niugini, all associate fees, a stablo ticket. There was some suggestions made earlier on all sublo fees. You miss a charge him on top. If this law fees, me play asking minister or relevant ministers, Minister of Civil Aviation, Minister of Transport, as well as Minister of State Enterprise, are looking all fee associate want them all tickets. That area you can look longan, but look really keep him Air Niugini running the ticket cost. Something where you may not have influence it too much. But if there is some space to assist, you may go assist. Me give him barely see long member you ask him a question. I'll get the Minister for Civil Aviation and the Minister for State Enterprise to look combine into not just Air Niugini ticket and cost for Air Niugini, but the total package related on cost for travel, where some fees to be built into this cost. And we'll get back to the member and to the people. Thank you very much.
Governor for Central.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Assistant Speaker. My question without notice is directed to the Minister for Works and Highways. Mr. Speaker, Assistant Speaker, sorry. In light of the continuous land grabbing and law and order situation in Port Moresby and Central Province, the Central Provincial Government and the people of Central Province strongly oppose the Connect PNG program insofar as it relates to connecting the missing link. However, Mr. Speaker, my government and the people of Central Province fully support the Connect PNG program as it relates to the maintenance and upgrading of the roads in Central Province identified in the Connect PNG program. Mr. Assistant Speaker, this is in light of the continuous land grabbing and law and order problems in Port Moresby and Central Province. Mr. Assistant Speaker, my question therefore goes to the good Minister for Works and Highways is, first, is there a process involved in scheduling of work on connecting the missing link in the Connect PNG program? And secondly, if there is a process involved, does it involve dialogue between national government and the provincial government concerned? Mr. Speaker, I raise these two important questions because as Governor for Central Province, I know that my people are not ready for the connection of the missing link from the Highlands to Central Province through Hela Province and the Gulf Province into Central Province. Mr. Speaker, given that Central Province is not ready, connecting the stated missing link will most likely result in negative consequences significantly outweighing the benefits for the people of Central Province. Mr. Speaker, while I understand the importance of the Connect PNG program, I believe it is prudent to maintain and upgrade existing roads within the province to the national highway status and to dialogue with provincial governments on the readiness for the connecting the missing link. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Minister for Works and Highway.
Me like this time lot of thank you, Governor of Central Province. Me play got two female Governor of Central Province na member of Right Coast. Good luck question below you. Law process law Connect PNG. Connect PNG thinking long government na objective or asking team lot is government marabe roso government long long connect him or long maintain him all missing links now all main highways that's all, but he must connect him Narapla province to Narapla province, Narapla district to Narapla districts, so that road link he must go along over the hub blow Papua New Guinea. Lo Wutung na Kam lo Vanemu go long Aitape go lo Wiwek go lo Angoram go lo Bogia Kam lo Mereng Kam lo Lei Kam lo Ebo Kam down lo Gulf na Hiritano na Kam over lo Megi na go lo Milin Bay. Ting lo Connect PNG emi enoblong one Blaha province tasol you work in maintenance na all people inside la have tasol be roni ko kam lo province blong all tasol has ting lo Connect PNG am lo lingi ma Papua New Guinea. So I'm thinking am all same process lo mi bla lo running this program lo country me applying at this Connect PNG program emi all running road emi all move all engineers blah blah blah. Work with them all districts, all provinces. Na all even all donor agencies of some ADB. To work go pass to lo help him, lo design him, detail him. Now all move. Lo one blah province. He ready, another province is already. I work from the leader now law. Make sure this province play, this district play you must ready. Now I must think the government lo connecting PNG. You know lo connecting one blah have to solve. So this road lo na process all connect PNG will make him because been amended na yung kumablo lo parliament long connecting Papua New Guinea. This process na this work lo connect PNG na lo wam lahap tas all. Lo toko this road them by can start lo hela na finish lo Milin Bay or Highlands na ma stop lo later so na no can come lo Mosby. Emi no ting lo government osem. Ting lo government them lo must connect him 4 region, 3 region, mainland region, na Napla, all island region, also east-west New Britain, na KVN also New Island province, he must connect that. So, we got all process, building all road, we got program underneath, connect PNG, got all divisions, work of him, this process, land grabbing too, we got all officers go down, talk to one all district, all works, province, all works, identify him, all this have road by go, all issues land on all lost trading, and then be another something me over, me blow pay him some all a land competition too. Now also, Larim this flow service must come. The plan on our stable same. So you want province to not come another province, so display by you must. Talk no gat lo display because I'm thinking asking them like government. I'm also na display road connect PNG. We like to thank you long. Marabe roso government. This like government. I mean no government. Where by working commitment na talk nothing. This like government. Only what and tablo talk only make him put him money. This 2023 budget is the biggest. I'm going to connect PNG. So roads play you. Governor, you will talk to roads play you. Start lo. Ebo kam dan lo Gulf na Hritano kam na go katalo. Magi na Milin Bay. Me blow by straight him. Me blow by straight him. Walk play say governor lo. You walk close to one time me blow. Na me play deliver him all these little projects. I walk play you governor one time me blow too lo. This plus service. They must come to people. And have a good blood road. By looking at economy will grow. Economy will grow. That's why I asked this black country, this black government now. I'm like giving road accessibility along all economic corridors so that economy will grow. Without good road conditions, you can't see economy grow. That's why we play that process, we play all of him. Now we play all connect them all this road. This plan last year, this plan year, time we some government, this plan or lasting thing will come up. Now you got plenty improvement will come up. So we like assure him governor me plan. Now appeal long and also me got process or land grabbing me plan will buy compensation so that this plan road must come. Plan is something me plan will make him so me appeal long and one them province plan all people plan so walk across to one them me plan so that this plan big plan major road infrastructure must come along province. One them this plan thank you lo. Deputy Assistant Secretary Speaker.
Deputy Opposition Leader.
Mr. Assistant Speaker, I think the good governor raised two very important questions, and the two important questions need to be answered. Number one, consultation between the Department of Works and our provinces. I think she asked for that question to be answered. Number two, priority. What is the priority? Department blame now provinces. And that needs to be answered also. Because in the provinces, there are priority roads that need to be built, need to be connected. And suppose there's no consultation between the department and the provinces, then the provinces are left in limbo. So there must be close consultation between the Department of Works. You're doing a fantastic job, but you need more consultation with the provinces. Number one. So consultation is very important, and also to make certain that the priorities of the provinces and the districts are built into Connect PNG. Thirdly, this road you build in, what an economic outcome blame. Is the road going to end up somewhere where there's no road activity, no activity out there, social activities and business activity? Because in turn, that road must pay itself through some economic activity. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Deputy Opposition, my good Deputy Opposition. Good ask him. Me, been briefly read to us. Connect PNG, rural main highways, now all missing links, all provinces, all district roads, all infrastructures too. Now people give him autonomy or give power go down to provincial government, na districts, look out him all roads within your province to link them to the main Connect PNG roads. People also he identify each provinces he got all 1122 all missing links. Where people identify him, now people run him contracts, now people fund him all too. And then some roads long and then walk long. Governor, plus run one all members now by you identify which road governors you luruk long, which road districts by luruk long, now which road people Connect PNG by luruk long. So display all offices by all districts, especially all provincial district works, and the provincial works, national works, all work one time, long identify one missing links inside each provinces. This budget, this government has put more money back to the provinces and the districts, especially infrastructures, the road infrastructure. Tomorrow we will talk the debate more on this plan. But big money go down district provincial roads, not district roads. Okay, all MIPLA works to identify more economic roads. Now, time MIPLA identify more economic roads or missing links, lo connect come lo main road. I work lo MIPLA governance to lo surround na. Tell him want him walk all national or Connect PNG will walk identify not to walk and then MIPLA by walking this road na connect him. So this plan me walk lo MIPLA to lo surround. MIPLA kawan na MIPLA itok to lo this plan. So plenty long all missing links. Demand is very high. Na all envelope MIPLA kisim lo make it work not enough. So every good plan of MIPLA identify 10 or 15, 16 blah, walk him 3 years, connect him over this road and then go identify more all missing links. Walk him ourselves. So MIPLA got this program and MIPLA identify that stuff. Thank you.
Honorable Obura Wanadara, what is your supplementary?
Thank you, Assistant Speaker. Supplementary question belum go along, Minister belum highways and works and highways. Ini apa, Mr. Minister, through lo you, Assistant Speaker, current come lo display house, when more roads inside long connect PNG, and stop. Now when more roads inside long missing link, department blow me, try lo walking. Now when more roads inside long provincial government, lo province, where all provincial governors by take care. Now when more roads inside lo district, where me blow member blow district by Lugluk Loem na funding. Simple question, blow Mitchell. Thank you.
Member, that's a new question that you asked. Member for Alata.
Minister Blong works on the highway.
Honorable member, resume your seat because you were asking a new question. Member for Alata.
Thank you, Assistant Speaker, for giving me this opportunity.
Honorable member for Popondeta, what is your point of order?
Mr. Assistant Speaker, I'm in support of the member for Obu Waninara. The question has already been asked. So therefore, the Speaker must respond to that question on the House. The interjection should have happened when the question was still on. So I'm representing people below Obu Waninara, so he must be given that opportunity for the Minister to answer and respond to that question.
Honorable member, your point of order is not in order because he was asking a new question. Because he asked supplementary, so when he asked for the new question, then the question was not in order. Honorable Honorable members, the chair will recognize him later. Member for Alata.
Thank you, Assistant Speaker. Look so well, all people Alata. Assistant Speaker, this being my first opportunity to take the floor, I want to also congratulate you and importantly to thank my people of Alata for giving me the trust and confidence to represent them here on this floor. Let me also congratulate the Prime Minister, our good ministers, the opposition leader and all the members of Parliament. Assistant Speaker, my question without notice is to the Minister for Oil Palm. I want to congratulate him as well and the Prime Minister for recognizing this important industry and sector. I'd like the Minister for Agriculture and hopefully the Minister for Labour to take note. Assistant Speaker, the oil palm industry is a major agriculture industry in this country. And 83% of our oil palm is operated by Sim Dhabi through Nubitan palm oil. And they've been here in the country for the last 50 years. So at this juncture, I want to also thank the company and our industry players, especially in the agriculture sector, for their contribution to our nation building. However, Mr. Assistant Speaker, there are a few issues that fall under the radar that I'd like to highlight. Number one, Assistant Speaker, is with regards to the minimum wage determination that we have set under Clause 6 that has exempted the agriculture companies and that has denied our people who work in the industry to participate in the minimum wage. In 2014, the minimum wage under Clause 6 was set at $3.50 per hour. That was to be reviewed after 3 years. Unfortunately, we have taken a blind eye on this, and we have not adjusted that rate. The Prime Minister, in his words, wants to drive the agriculture industry. And so we need to motivate and incentivize the people who make this industry work. My question to the Minister, can the Minister immediately do a review on Clause 6 and remove
Honourable
Clause 6?
Member, which minister are you asking?
Minister for Oil Palm.
Oil palm, okay, go ahead.
Can the Minister, in consultation with the Labour Minister, review Clause 6 on the minimum wage determination? Secondly, Mr. Speaker, the oil palm industry, under the Oil Palm Industry Corporation, has been an extension service provider since its inception in 1990 without any regulatory powers to regulate the industry here in Papua New Guinea. It has been years foreign milling companies have become regulators in the industry, leaving the OPIC, which is a government body, left out of the picture. The industry does not have any legal regulatory powers to regulate and manage the industry and its operations. The industry needs an urgent legal policy framework to govern its operations. Can the Minister assure this House as to when he has plans to bring the OPIC Authority Bill and the Oil Palm Management Bill to this House for endorsement in the near future? Thank you, Mr. Assistant Speaker.
Honourable Minister for Oil Palm.
Thank you, Assistant Speaker. Thank you, Honourable Member for Alatau, for this very important question. In regard to the industry, it's important to this country. But prior to me answering the question, I'd like to thank the Prime Minister for appointing me to be the Oil Palm Minister. And again, I also want to thank my people of Nakanai, voting me in for the second time to this honorable House. The question by the honorable member for Alatau, I think it's appropriate at this point in time as we see the industry itself is a very old industry. It's been here for 40, 50 years. And as we all know, the industry, the legislation that covers the industry is only an extension service legislation. So that is why I thank the Prime Minister and this government, the Marape Rosso government, for taking this opportunity to start looking at this very important industry. So as it is today, oil palm is taken priority to improve the economy, the way forward. But at the same time, in order to prosper, we really have to see to the legislation, the policy, and the regulation. I commend the member, because that is exactly the mission that we're doing today. And I'm working on the 100-day plan, which includes the legislation to industry, which will involve the industry players, so as our government, important institutions, to make sure that we come up with a new legislation covering the industry, the new policy, so as the new regulatory framework that will help to drive the industry. Most importantly, I want to appeal to the people of Papua New Guinea in regard to this very industry. We know that the future of our country will depend on how the government is really having to prioritize the industry. As we know, there's so much of a climate change or global warming impacts, and that has been driving the suppression of this industry in our country and most importantly in other countries as well. But in our country, as we're going to see to the future of industry, we're going to develop in the grassland, not to do more of deforestation. And again, we have to comply to the global warming and the climate change effects. There's a policy in our country as well. In order to do, we will have to attend to the global market in regard to this very important industry and the future of our economy. But otherwise, The question asked by the Honorable Member for Alatau, it is appropriate at this time, but I need your support and all other governors and members in this House to come together and for us to drive this very important industry forward. We will have to do more of consultation. The legislation is now halfway, so is the policy and the regulation. So it will be a more brand new legislation and regulation as we're going to see driving this industry forward. I need support from all of you members in this House, Honorable House, as to how we're going to drive this very important industry in our country. Thank you, Assistant Speaker.
Honorable Member for Kerawagi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to speak in this. In doing so, I recognize my people of Kerawagi. Since it is my first time to speak in this Honorable House, I take this time to thank my people of Kerawagi for trust and confidence they have in me and elect me to this 11th Parliament. Mr. Speaker, on behalf of the people of Kerawagi, I also congratulate the Marabe Rosa government, the ministers, my colleagues MPs in this 11th Parliament. Mr. Speaker, I also pass my thank you to our good Minister for Finance and Planning and Minister for Treasury, the department heads, Vice Ministers, the outgoing staff for framing this 2023 national budget and presented successfully. It is not that easy task, but you have done it well. Well done. Mr. Speaker, my question without notice is directed to our good Minister for Civil Aviation. Minister for Transport can take note of it. This is regarding the Kundiawa Airport. This airport is closed for some years now. There is a need to reopen this airport so that people of Simbu can access aviation services there. Traveling to Mount Hagen and Gorka has a lot of risk involved. Even for early bookings, they have to travel as early as 3 o'clock a.m. while it is dark. Minister, if you have a plan to establish, revive, and reconstruct urban airstrips in the country, could you please reopen Kundiawa Airport for our people? Mr. Speaker, my second question is, the Simbu government has a plan to relocate the airport. My Simbu governor can confirm that. The proposed site is Kup in Kerawagi district. Mr. Speaker, there is a feasibility study undertaken in this area in the last regime, which is this government. Mr. Speaker, can our good Minister for Civil Aviation can confirm that? If so, furthermore, give approval for the proposed site to continue. The government of Simbu and our good 6 Simbu MPs will cooperate with this government to ensure this very vital service is established for our people. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Minister for Civil Aviation and Transport.
Thank you, Assistant Speaker. I'd like to say thank you to the member as well for his question. I cannot stress any more of the importance of having airstrips operational in all our districts and provinces. This is important, and I think this is the focus of the Marape Rosso government. Unfortunately, with the current saga that we have at ANAC, It's going to create some delays in terms of getting you the appropriate information you are seeking, right? But please rest assured, as Minister responsible, I want to see more airstrips open, I want to see more airports open, and I want to see accessibility by our people with air travel more convenient for everyone within the country. So I asked the good member if he can forward me his questions in writing, and then I can get an official response to him as I try now going forward to resolve the issue that I have with NAC right now. Because I will need NAC's feedback as well in terms of, can we open up the airport? Can we reconsider a relocation? Okay. I also will need CASA's input as well in relation to, can the airport be relocated or the existing airport can be opened? Rest assured, my motivation, my focus here, my good honourable member, is to open up the airport as per your desire and your people's desire. So that's my motivation. So I'll work together with yourself and the provincial government to achieve that. Thank you.
Honourable Member for Obura Wanenera. Member for Pomio, what is your point of order?
Mr. Speaker, point of order blowing also ma me looking time long question time will go down now. Plenty will member blowing me or like asking question. Me asking also me extend him question time please.
Yeah.
Honourable members, the question is that question time be extended to another 20 minutes. Those in favour, please stand up. Honourable members, we have the absolute majority. The question time now is extended to 20 minutes. I will ask the Obura Wanenera member to ask a question without notice.
Thank you, Assistant Speaker, one more time. Lo, give him chance to me. Lo, maki mouse, lo, people, lo, me, lo, Obura Wanenera. Mr. Assistant Speaker, my questions without notice is directed to Minister for Works and Highways. And they are very simple questions. Can the Minister bring to this House the roads? Before I ask him question, me like talk thank you lo marapero sol gaman lo luksave lo or roads blow you inside lo country. Amas Plagaman come na go. They keep putting money, but connect PNG no got through. Missing links no got through. Now, Honourable Prime Minister, you have done well through your minister. Minister, inap you current come lo display house talk save lo mibla honourable members lo roads that you mark him by come up also connect PNG. 1. 2, the missing links. 3, all provincial roads where all governors blomibla in charge loem. Then our district roads. So mibla no na confused na ino na foul na. You me all get up by putting money lo one plus same plus road taso. One kind of some inline long. Ask him long governor blo you lo central province. Thank you, Assistant Speaker.
Minister for Works.
Thank you. Good luck. Question blow. Member blow. Obura Wanenera. Yes, me by talking or ask him office or secretary now or department heads blow me law identify only got finished, but only putting around the paper. About me try and distribute him. So it's be like present him by me must come long. Parliament statement about me make him. But now I'm go. Today probably I'm by second last day, tomorrow I'm by last day blow. Parliament blow 2022. By me talking more long. Identify him, put him on cello envelopes, now by me distribute him. I be distributed to all the members, all governors, all ministers, colleague members of parliament, so use Savelo, what in my roads belong each provinces, districts, now country too, so some play no stop on this list. You must also say me no stop, so by me play, put it come back after time me play, completing all not all missing links. Or by you province, na district must sit down, now you put a counterpart funding, law funding all this roads. You think I'm economic, but me plan no putting what on missing links. So this plug government, by putting big money on the provincial roads, the district infrastructures, you plan 2 weeks and lower this plan. But by me make it more sense. Through you, Assistant Speaker. Thank you.
Honorable Governor for Melembe.
Thank you very much, Mr. Assistant Speaker. Whilst having this opportunity, I'd like to first of all take this time to acknowledge the people of Milne Bay for giving me the confidence in leading them in this 11th Parliament. Mr. Assistant Speaker, I'd like to direct my series of questions to the Minister for State Enterprises, but unfortunately the Minister is not in, so I'd like to direct my questions without notice to our Honourable Prime Minister. My question to the Honourable Prime Minister is that when the national government will pay out Milne Bay, provincial government, 52 million share payment from the previous oil palm company in Milne Bay that has been held with Kumul Consolidated Holdings for many, many years. Mr. Speaker, for over many years, successive Milne Bay provincial governments and governors have followed up on a long overdue share payments from the oil palm business and activities currently held by the Kumul Consolidated Holdings Limited. We are aware that the National Executive Council has resolved to make a payment of 52 million owed to the Milne Bay provincial government as share payments, which have been outstanding going back decades. Mr. Speaker, my first question to the Honourable Prime Minister, will the Prime Minister assure the people of Milne Bay Province and my government that this will be paid without delay? 2, if so, when will this be? If not, why? It's been a long time. Thank you, Mr. Deputy Prime Minister. Speaker.
Honourable Prime Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Assistant Speaker. I just want to appreciate the Governor of Milne Bay for asking this question. Firstly, let me apologize for the non-presence of our Minister. He sent in his apologies as an urgent matter dealing with Air Niugini, and I've asked him to attend to this matter, and he's not in Parliament at the moment. But on the question that Governor has raised, I do sincerely apologize on behalf of the past government, of which I was Finance Minister, and present government for what is delayed remittance of what is due to your province. In fact, last year, we undertook to relook at the history surrounding what is owed to Milne Bay and owed to Oro Province as a result of transfer of these oil palm shares and the shares that was held in trust by KCH. It was affirmed that we owed, national government owed the two provinces some money for the transaction that took place, dating back, if I'm not wrong, 10 years or so. I want to assure you and your provincial government and the people of Milne Bay, it is owed to you. It is not a matter of not coming to you, but it's a matter of when we find the money and send to you. I give you my fullest assurance at the very earliest when we could put together, we could send the money to you in cash or in kind. Mr. Assistant Speaker, Oro Province is working with us also. We owe them almost a similar amount. There's a conversation going on some of the, if KCH is not able to fully transfer cash or matching cash, then how can we look at transfer of asset or something in kind across to the province? So those conversation is happening with Oro Province at the same time. We welcome you to the Office of the Minister for State-owned Enterprise and ourselves, and we will assist you progress this matter that belongs to your people and to your province. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable Member for Abao.
I wish to ask a question without notice to the Honourable Minister for Oil Palm. And I want to congratulate him for his appointment. He's the right person to be appointed on this particular, very important subsector of agriculture. Honourable Assistant Speaker, my question relates to, and before I ask a question, I would want the Minister for Lands, unfortunately not here, to take note, and also the Prime Minister to take note. My question relates to an advertisement made by the New Britain Palm Oil Company on the 4th of November on the sale of 4 portions of uncultivated land in Amazon Bay in Abao district. In 2007, the company approached me as member for Abao to look at the possibility of developing oil palm and extension from Milne Bay to Amazon Bay, where we are borders. And so we granted this land in 2008. It's a 99-year lease, and on the advertisement on the 4th of November, they advertised to sell this portion of land, which was meant to be for oil palm. And so there are 3 portions, Mr. Assistant Speaker. One is 278 hectares, another is 802 hectares, another is 3,298 hectares, another 973 hectares, total of 5,351.29 hectares, intended for all New Britain Palm Oil, who we gave the title to. And now they have advertised on the 4th of November to sell this land. Mr. Assistant Speaker, on behalf of the landowners that own this enormous land, uncultivated, negotiated for oil palm with this honorable company, but now they got a title and they are going to sell this land. Mr. Assistant Speaker, with our government policy of empowering landowners and the Deputy Prime Minister's initiative of using state lease, granting the landowner state lease so that they are empowered to negotiate development. Mr. Assistant Speaker, can I ask the Honorable Minister for Oil Palm to discuss with the Minister for Lands for us to achieve our ultimate goal of getting this land with the state lease to the people rather than somebody else buying it, which was originally intended for oil palm. Can the Minister make an intervention or make a representation to the company so that we resolve this before it is sold to companies? Thank you, Mr. Assistant Speaker.
Honourable Minister for...
Thank you, Member for Abao. Honourable Sir Pukatemu, through you, Assistant Speaker, as it is, I'm going to see the NBPOL or Samidabi, as it is today, and inquire on the status of the land and where they're selling. And most importantly, if it is state land, then I think there is a process to follow. If it's been held over time, it has to be forfeited, given to be made available for any developer to develop. And if it is a customary land and title, and I know it can, the first person to be given back the title is, or the ownership is back to the customary landowners, the way I understand. But as for the question, I will take it up myself and see the importance of that, that very land so that we can be able to utilize whatever programs we are going to do today. And the land alienation a fund that is now made available to lands, for us, the honorable members, the lands program is important for the development of oil palm and any other developments in town. The government is going to stand in to make available land so that we can be able to access developments in agriculture or any land developments in town areas. But otherwise, for Honorable Sepu Katemu, through you, Assistant Speaker, I will take it as my business to make sure I have more information on that and advise you as soon as I get the appropriate information on that piece of land. Thank you, Assistant Speaker.
Member for Chuave.
Mr. Assistant Speaker, thank you for recognizing the people of Chuave. Before I ask my question without notice to the Minister for Trade and Investment, Honourable Richard Maru, I'll take this opportunity to say thank you to the people of Chuave for voting me into the 11th Parliament, and congratulations to my fellow members. I recognize that many good men have come before me and many good men will come after, but I take this opportunity to salute the Prime Minister, the Deputy Prime Minister, the Opposition Leader, and I find myself fortunate to be amongst you in this House. Assistant Speaker, my question without notice to the Minister for Trade and Investment is with respect to the Special Economic Zone program and initiative of the Marape Rosso government. I just want to advise the House that we have a very unique situation in Simbu right now. The 7 MPs of Simbu, under the auspices of our good governor, have achieved political committee. We are all in one accord, and we embrace the program and are here to ask the Minister when he will come to Karamui in Simbu province to advise us of a way forward. After 47 years of independence, we have seen that our road to development has been floundering, and a lot of this has been because of failed leadership in the province. We have been at odds with each other. We have not been able to agree with each other. But today, I would like to announce to the Honourable House that Simbu, we have come to the 11th Parliament as one. And we see that the way forward under our good governor is through leveraging our assets. Sipig, you have the Sipig Plains. Morobe, you might have Markham. But Simbu, we have Karamui. And we feel that we must embrace the program, Special Economic Zones, and invite the good minister and his team and our friends from the Japanese Development Institute to come to Karamui first, as a first point of call. Simbu, we are ready to partner up with the Marape Rosso government to bring us out of the rural enclaves that we have been in for the last 47 years and improve the living conditions of our people in Simbu through Karamui, and therefore effectively contribute to nation building. So my question to my good minister is, when do you plan to come to Karamui? Because we are ready to receive you. Thank you, Mr. Assistant Speaker.
Honourable Minister for Trade and Investment.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to thank the member for Travel for this very important statement that Chimbu's Maises are finally united. We are very happy to hear that. We are planning for our Japanese friends to arrive next Tuesday, and our team will assemble, and certainly Simbu and Karamui will be the first district we will visit and province we will visit. I want to give an undertaking on this floor of Parliament, and I will make sure I come with them. As soon as we have the flight sorted out, we will advise you and the governor and all the leaders of Chimbu about time of visit. This is sometime towards the end of next week, and I will come there in person. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Governor for NCD.
Thank you, Assistant Speaker, for giving me opportunity to ask a series of questions. I've got 6 questions to the Minister for Culture and Tourism. Although there are 6, they're all related to the Kokoda Trail, so Minister would find he can answer it in 1 or 2 replies. Number 1 question, what is the PNG Tourism Promotion Authority's position on Kokoda Trail as a major tourist product and as a strategy for attracting tourists into our country? Number 2, what step or strategy is PNG Tourism Promotion Authority taking to promote and leverage this very important tourist product to promote tourism industry in PNG? Number 3, how many road shows or promotion PNG TPA has undertaken or plans to undertake or hold in Australia to promote Kokoda Trail, entice Australia to walk or visit various sites on the trail or participate in various activities along the trail as a commemoration of the Second World War feats? Number 4, would your ministry and PNGTA agree to recognize and celebrate the Kokoda Day, which is celebrated in Australia on the 3rd of November, as part of the strategy to promote Kokoda Trail and as a strategy to promote tourism in PNG? Number 5, what plans, if any, does your ministry and PNG TPA have to celebrate the deeds of Papuan Infantry Battalion, New Guinea Infantry Battalion in the epic Battle of Kokoda, so again to leverage it to promote this very important product and tourism generally in our country? Final question, is there any discussion going on between PNG TPA, your ministry and the Ministry of Environment and Conservation to move the Kokoda initiative away from SEPA to PNG TPA? That question essentially, Assistant Speaker, Kokoda initiative is a tourist initiative, not a conservation or whatever. It should not be parked in SEPA. Just a small context to this, Mr. Assistant Speaker. PNG TPA is going to China, going to Japan, going to Europe, everywhere to promote tourism. What are the chances of tourists coming from China and Europe and America coming to PNG? But there's a strategy. This is why I'm asking this question. Australia, they're most likely to come. They have all the reasons to come. And if we promote the trail to get the Australians to come, then everybody else might feel more comfortable to come to PNG. So we are talking about the economy. One major way in which we can boost the economy, generate income, is tourism. Thank you, Mr. Assistant Speaker.
Honorable Minister for Culture and Tourism.
Thank you, Acting Speaker, for allowing me to take this question. I'd like to thank the Governor for National Capital District for raising this very important and a very significant question, especially in this time. Now, he raised a couple of questions that I will attend to them one by one. Let's look at the first question. What is Papua New Guinea Tourism Promotion Authority's position on the Kokoda Trail as a major tourism or tourist product and a strategy for attracting tourists to our country. Now, Kokoda Trail is an iconic tourism product for Papua New Guinea, as it has significant wartime history attached to it. A 96-kilometer stretch from Central Province and Oro Province, in which the Allied forces fought against a Japanese invasion. TPA always maintains that Kokoda Trail is #1 tourism product in Papua New Guinea. It gives the numbers in terms of tourist arrivals to Papua New Guinea, and of course, contributes to the economy and spin-off benefits to the communities along the Kokoda track, as well as Papua New Guinea as a whole. On average, Kokoda Trail itself attracts 4,000 tourists, specifically from Australian source market, and every year to experience the tough terrain as a pilgrimage to honor those who fought the Battle of the Kokoda. TPA has and will continue to assist the locals along the track to improve the quality of the tourism product and services along the track with very limited funding that TPA gets annually. Now, COVID-19 actually devastated that track in terms of tourism over the 2-year period from 2019 to 2020. Most of the local tourism operators actually closed their operations due to the no tourists walking the track. Now, during that period, TPA did an assessment of the product and services along the track, identified the common issues, and initiated activities to address some of these issues. One is the Kokoda Accommodation Classification System, or the AACS as acronymed. The other one is the Safe Traveler Program to mitigate the risk of COVID-19. See the Kokoda Tour Operator Survey, then the Kokoda Toilet and Shower Project. My CEO also visited the main villages along the track. And also the Kokoda 80th Anniversary Commemoration. Now, what steps or strategies is TPA taking to promote and leverage this important tourist product to promote the tourism industry in Papua New Guinea? The enhancement of Kokoda Trail as a tourism product aims to ensure that basic soft infrastructure required by a tourist along the trail is accessible to make the experience seamless while keeping the ambience of the product. Now, this is inclusive of A, which is the ACS. This system ensures that the basic backpack accommodation needs are met by service providers along the trail by ensuring there is a minimum standard in place for hospitality services. You can online I come. Or online blue yumi. Online water site. And services provided for the tourist is important. So make sure that minimum standards are met by service providers along the track to make sure that not only they enjoy the trekking, but especially when it comes to the hospitality aspect of the project. So it's important. Safe Travel of Papua New Guinea. I'm displaying me health and safety protocols for the tourism industry of Papua New Guinea that integrates a nuclear passing into tourism business operations to ensure we mitigate the risk of COVID-19 transmission. It gives us that platform, not only COVID-19. What about other diseases? So it gives us a platform to address that issue, health issue. Now, Kokoda Tour Operator Survey and be conducted to establish the needs and current limitations experienced by tour operators on the Kokoda Trail. We have now identified where government intervention is required for enhancing this tourism product. So our tour operators are very, very important. We need to capture that also. So they provide the service up to standard, so the tourism is leveraged up to that level. How many road shows or promotions has TPA undertaken or plans to undertake in Australia to promote Kokoda Trail and entice Australians to walk or visit various sites or participate in various activities related to the Kokoda campaign or the Second World War? The Kokoda Trail itself actually was birthed out of World War. It's the narrative, it's a story. As you walk that trail, gives meaning and purpose to the track. Without a narrative, that track is meaningless. That's the reason why it's an iconic tourism product in this country. The narrative, the story behind the track. Australia remains the major source of tourism in PNG. Australia. Why Australia? Why Kokoda Track? That is where blood was shed. All Australia always in blood blow all of this track here. The young Australians, all young Australians who study conscript or fight with this war.
Honourable Minister, resume your seat.
The Minister is making a minister's statement. He should be answering the question and go straight to the point. If he wants to make a minister's statement, he can do it at a later date. Thank you, Mr. Assistant Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Member for Vanimo Green. Your point of order is in order. Minister, you respond to the questions.
Thank you. Let me continue. Yes, total arrivals from Australia, more than 50%. Now, we have undertaken numerous marketing and promotional activities over the years and will continue to do so into the future. We have recently observed and commemorated the Kokoda 80th anniversary in November, just a few weeks ago. The campaign is ongoing and will be rolled out next year. The number of activities undertaken, one plan, we partner with Air New Guinea, offering more display special fare on extended Kokoda Trek trips. That will commence next year, February 2023 to June 2023. Promotions.
Minister, there is a point of order. A member for Northfly.
You ruled that the good member for Vanimo's point of order is in order. So you haven't made your ruling against the minister. What is it? Will he continue or will he stop somewhere?
Honourable member for Northfly, Minister, you need to answer the questions that the Governor for NCD asked.
I suppose we will stop interjecting and we can continue. But I think I'll be straightforward. We can make him short. We're making efforts to make sure we promote Kokoda Trek in Australia and using Australia to leverage tourism. We're promoting tourism, especially Kokoda Trek, attracting others to come and walk the track. I saw him, now question again, he come. In regards to would your ministry and TPA agree to recognize and celebrate Kokoda Day, celebrated in Australia on the 3rd of November as part of this strategy to promote tourism in the country? Well, first was the day we play celebrating Pinis. All Australians come and we play celebrate him and we promoted it. Time we play Kokoda. So that is an ongoing program and annually it actually happens. And Australians and Papua New Guineans will join together to promote the Fasiwazi Angels Day right here at Kokoda. Now, what plans, if any, do you have, your ministry and TPA have?
Minister, it's sort of like you are reading a ministerial statement.
Okay.
Maybe in the near future you can put it in a writing to answer NCD's governor's questions.
I can conclude in this last asking that TPA will continue to support and will continue to assist through its three agencies: National Museum, Tourism Promotion Authority, and National Cultural Commission. Lo halimim, lo development tourism, especially lo Kokoda Track. Now we can talk to you that Kokoda Track is an iconic program. If we harness it, it will be one of those products in this country that can elevate and propel tourism to the next level. Thank you.
Honorable members, the question time for 20 minutes has expired. I think I will ask the Minister for Civil Aviation and Transport to answer some of the important questions that he needs to answer.
Assistant Speaker, I seek leave to make an official response to the member of Delta Fly's question earlier in the week.
Honorable members, is leave granted? Minister, go ahead.
Thank you, Assistant Speaker. Firstly, I would like to correct Tok Lomi past them previously when we've been announcing Molsem RRA stand for Rural Airstrip Association. I want to correct it. It's Rural Airstrip Agency. The Rural Airstrip Agency is not a party to the upgrade of Ballymore Airstrip into the becoming a proposed airport. RAA has only been involved in maintenance upkeep of the Ballymore Airstrip to minimum civil aviation safety standards of unpaved aerodromes, AC Part 139-6, since 2018. Ballymore Airstrip is served by third-level airline operators primarily for purpose of service delivery needs in the area, such as area health, patrols, etc. Tropicare, SIL, Strickland, Borsavi Foundation are the only other operators that are known to frequent the airstrip. In relation to the question by the Honourable Member from Delta Fly, the question one, Mr. Speaker, Igor Sam, given that Oktedi mining has been and still is the biggest revenue earner in the country, can the national government direct NAC to upgrade the status of Ballymore Airport and recognise it as an airport instead of an airstrip, since it's located in the new Delta Fly district headquarters? Answer, Mr. Speaker, the national government appreciates the importance of Ballymore Airstrip and the strategic location the Ballymore Airstrip is situated. However, the national government is also aware of the airstrip's legacy issues, which prevents the national government taking any steps to upgrade Ballymore Airstrip to a national airport. The reason being that, one, existing state contract. There is already an existing state contract number CSTB 2497, valued at 32,998,790 kina, GST inclusive, for the upgrading of the Ballymore Airport, entered between the state and the company called Edda Civil Works Limited, the contractor, on 7th February 2013. The contract is yet to be fully performed. Number two, various national court proceedings and stay order from the Supreme Court. The contract was awarded by the O'Neill-Dion government to the contractor. However, due to non-payment of the contractual amount, the work ceased. In 2015, the contractor instituted court proceeding WS number 1141 of 2015 against the state for non-payment of the contractual amount, plus variation and loss of business. Number three, in or about 28th September 2020, after a court-annexed mediation in a related court proceeding, stayed OS number 40 of 2020. Parties reached an agreement called Hilton Heads of Agreement to settle. On 21st October 2020, the Marape Bezel government made a NEC decision number 237/2020 to settle the outstanding amount and for the contractor to return to site and complete the contract. The parties entered into a consent order and the National Court endorsed the order on the 2nd of November 2020 in the related proceedings. Subsequently, the contractor was paid 21,249,895 kina and 98 toya, but the Board of Trustees of the Western Province non-CMC People's Dividend Trust account in 2021, the Fly River Provincial Government appealed the order in the proceedings SCA number 145 of 2020, Supreme Court appeal, and on 28 June 2021, obtained a stay order. Because of the stay order, the 2015 court proceedings has been stayed as well. The Supreme Court appeal has not been concluded as yet. Depending on the outcome of the Supreme Court appeal, the contractor will either complete the contract or cease altogether. Assessment of the viability of the upgrade of the airstrip. If the various court proceeding goes in favor of the contractor and it sees completing the contract altogether, the national government, through the shareholders of National Airport Corporation, can request the board of NAC to instruct the management of NAC to provide an assessment of the viability of the Ballymore airstrip being upgraded to an airport. Number two question, Mr. Speaker. Can the Marape-Roseau government step in to fund the Ballymore Airport project completion, possibly through the ADB loan, like all other major airport infrastructures in the country, and have it included in the national budget? Mr. Speaker, answer to that is no. The national government cannot fund the Ballymore Airport project completion. Reasons, based on the same reasons I have outlined earlier, to do so might amount to 1, sub judice contempt, 2, double funding the same project, and we've got to try to avoid that. We have to wait now for the courts to deliberate on this matter first and foremost. B, it depends on the outcome of the court proceedings and also the outcome of the study of the pilot airstrip from KEDEP 2. On the other hand, if the other court's deliberation and the contractor cease work altogether, the Ballymore airstrip will have to wait for 4 pilot airstrips upgrade to all-weather standard projects under the current MOA between Asian Development Bank and the national government KEDEP 2 to be completed and a study to be prepared on the developing a program to expand the upgrading of the rural airstrip to all-weather standard. After the program is developed, then consultation would have to be done through collaboration with NAC, CASA, Rural Airstrip Agency, and other stakeholders regarding the upgrade of the Ballymore airstrip to all-weather standard or national airport status. Number 3 question from the Honourable Member, Mr. Speaker. Once funding is secured and made available by the national government, can the NAC make its business to have their engineers based on the ground to ensure successful completion according to the scope of works? My answer to that, Mr. Speaker, is that it's already been answered in point 2 above. I will forward now a copy of this official response to my good honourable member for Delta Fly, so he has this document in his possession to then further action it at his decision. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Parliament.
Honourable members, papers. I now call upon the Minister for Tourism and Arts and Culture.
Now you can read.
Mr. Acting Speaker, pursuant to statutes, I present the National Cultural Policy 2022 to 2032 of the National Cultural Commission. Mr. Speaker, I ask the leave of Parliament to make a statement in connection with the report.
Honourable members, is leave granted? Minister, you can make your speech.
Mr. Assistant Speaker, allow me to start by thanking you for giving me the opportunity to present to this House the development of a policy on culture. Before I elaborate on this policy, on culture, let me take this time to thank the Prime Minister of Papua New Guinea, Honorable James Marape, for retaining me as the Minister for Tourism, Arts and Culture under the Marape-Rosso government in the 11th Parliament. Let me also thank the National Executive Council and the government to endorse the National Cultural Policy 2022 to 2032 in the 10th Parliament. Prime Minister, thank you once again for officiating the official launching of the National Cultural Policy 2022 to 2032 on the 9th of June 2022 at APEC House. Mr. Acting Speaker, as honorable members may recall, not so long ago, I delivered a similar ministerial statement for the Tourism Promotion Authority in the last Parliament. But this time, my presentation is on the achievement of another important government agency under my ministry. That agency is the National Cultural Commission. Mr. Acting Speaker, the policy being presented to Parliament today is the National Cultural Policy 2022 to 2032, which has been approved and endorsed by the National Executive Council. It is a remarkable achievement for my ministry and the National Cultural Commission. It is a homegrown policy, and certainly one that was developed without engaging expensive consultants. I can confirm to the House that this policy is the first of its kind for the cultural sector since Papua New Guinea attained independence, and also first ever cultural policy in the Pacific region, including Australia and New Zealand. Mr. Acting Speaker, I am very privileged to have been associated with the development of this policy. When I was appointed the Minister for Tourism, Art and Culture in December 2020, it soon became apparent to me from the briefings that new policy on culture exists. NOGAT. The net result of this policy vacuum have seen, one, policy and legal inconsistencies affecting enforcement and monitoring of cultural properties. Two, collaboration and coordination between cultural agencies and stakeholders lacking and needing improvement. Third, unclear demarcation of roles and responsibilities of cultural institutions. Fourth, lack of attention in long-term government development plans on culture. Five, absence of sector policy on culture. Six, ad hoc approach to cultural services delivery. And seven, lack of funding and capacity building issues. Mr. Acting Speaker, this cultural policy addresses failures of the past governments. The protecting, safeguarding, developing, and promoting of our cultural heritage is a constitutional mandate. But these have taken a backseat over the years. Nevertheless, the policy addresses some perennial issues which have hindered the growth of the cultural sector. The main ones are, one, successive governments since independence have failed to develop a cultural policy for Papua New Guinea. Thus, this policy is the first of its kind under the Marape-Rosso government. Second, no prominence was given to the cultural sector in the main government plans, which is a medium-term development plan and PNG Vision 2050, resulting with development of arts and culture lacking behind other sectors. Third, insufficient funding allocations in annual budgets have hampered cultural services delivery and capacity development. 5, failure to recognize the important role that art and culture play in the economy of the country, contributing to economic growth, employment creation, and eradication of poverty. 5, failure to recognize in policy that our cultures are the main tourism products that needs government intervention. And 6, failure to encourage development of provincial cultural development plans. In short, Mr. Assistant Speaker, our cultural heritage, which is the backbone of this nation, receives far less priority in our development plans. For instance, Pillar 6 in the Papua New Guinea Vision 2050 paid scant attention to culture, and nothing constructive is shown to either the Medium-Term Development Plan 3 or Papua New Guinea Development Strategic Plan 2010 to 2030. This is a far cry from what the Constitution has been urging us to do, particularly Goal 5 of the national goals and directive principles advocates that our development should take place primarily through the use of Papua New Guinea forms of social, political, and economic organization, and cultural, commercial, and ethnic diversity of our people is a positive strength. And for the fostering of a respect for and appreciation of traditional ways of life and culture, including language in all their richness and variety, as well as for a willingness to apply these ways dynamically and creatively for the task of development. Mr. Acting Speaker, I must emphatically declare before this House that we have failed in realizing the huge potential that our cultural heritage offers in the development aspirations of our nation. We cannot go begging after others to do things for us, but must muster the necessary resources and the courage to address development agendas in our cultural plans. We as members of Parliament, the government, and equally our people, and the cultural institutions and stakeholders must work together to show that we care about the survival and transmission of our culture and traditions. This cultural policy offers us the opportunity to do just that. Let me reiterate that the National Cultural Policy is about giving prominence to culture. Towards this end, the intent and the scope of this policy is threefold. First, it attempts to identify and set a stage to give prominence with increased recognition and continue to support for and by the government in order to build a sustainable future for an active and thriving cultural and creative industry. The richness and diversity of our culture can be the stepping stone for a growing tourism industry when culture and arts are performed, exhibited, and marketed. Second, the policy attempts to identify the many challenges of protecting, safeguarding, preserving, developing and promoting Papua New Guinea's art and cultures through updated cultural laws, better storage and retrieval systems, through education and literature, and by way of public awareness. It highlights the governance and ongoing administrative issues and management setbacks, which have been major impediments to the development of our art and culture. Third, the policy provides a clear strategy for the government and stakeholders to implement in order to accomplish the objectives and outcome that are set out in this document. Mr. Acting Speaker, Papua New Guinea has been undergoing significant change and transformation since early contact with outsiders. Over the years, the impact on our cultures and traditional social systems have been massive. We have embraced ideas, education, religion, entertainment, and technology, etc. In the aftermath of the country modernizing and interacting with the wider world, but these have come with dire consequences to our indigenous people and societies. Changes are inevitable, but we as a nation, on one hand, must rise up as one to ensure the protection and preservation of our cultural heritage, which was unselfishly passed down to us by our ancestors, and on the other, develop and promote this heritage to benefit us. We have our duty to ensure that this heritage survives to the future generations with equal intervention measures. In a nutshell, Mr. Acting Speaker, this is what this policy is all about, providing guidance for government in some vital areas of cultural service delivery and development. Mr. Acting Speaker, the overall policy framework is set out to achieve the following aims. 1, provide linkage between culture and development plans. 2, provide a common platform for all cultural development players to interact. 3, align legislation, policy and plan for effective delivery of cultural services which currently are disjoined. 4, provide strategies for stakeholders' active involvement. 5, establish strong working relationship with subnational governments and administrations. 6, ensure critical enablers play their role in delivery of cultural services. And 7, provide a framework for economic growth in the cultural and creative industries. In order to achieve these aims, the cultural policy focuses on 4 outcome areas. These are 1, production and performance of art and culture. 2, promotion and marketing of arts and culture. 3, safeguarding and transmission of arts and culture. And 4, governance and capacity building of cultural institutions. Mr. Acting Speaker, the main thrust under the first policy outcome is to create interest amongst the people of this nation regarding their culture. It encourages people to continue practicing their culture, holding festivals, and exhibiting their specific cultural products. The second policy outcome area concerns the development of cultural and creative industries in Papua New Guinea by applying the government's agenda of developing the micro, small, and medium enterprises sector. This policy area addresses how best Papua New Guinea's art and culture can be promoted and marketed using the nation's massive media and by creating specific market spaces for the sale of our diverse cultural products. Third, the third policy outcome area is designed to ensure the protection of our tangible and intangible cultural heritage and the collection, storage, and retrieving of cultural information. The fourth policy outcome area is proposed to ensure that governance and institutional mechanisms are improved and that institutional capacities in areas of infrastructure, human resource, and financing are strengthened in order to make a delivery of cultural services more efficient, productive, and effective. Mr. Acting Speaker, the nation stands to benefit from this cultural policy. However, we know also that very little gain is made when we focus only for the sake of protecting and safeguarding. Therefore, it is imperative We also permit access to utilize this cultural heritage for economic growth in the cultural and creative industries, as alluded in the first two policy outcome areas mentioned. Simply, our culture are a valuable asset, a sustainable resource, available to every Papua New Guinean, to every member of the community to participate and enjoy the benefits thereof. On this point, Mr. Acting Speaker, let me remind all of us in this House that our diverse cultures and arts are tourism products, attracting over half of the visitors to our shows. Globally, the cultural tourism market, according to the recent World Bank report, is valued at US $453 billion. $453 billion net worth, global, tourism based on culture, which Papua New Guinea can tap into with vigorous promotion and marketing strategies in order to attract foreign tourists. This huge monetary figure alone illustrates the importance of culture and its contribution to the national economy. Papua New Guinea is diverse, very rich in culture. We have that potential. We in this nation have many such diverse cultural attractions that can bring in tourist money. We speak 1/3 of the world's total languages. 1/3 of the world's total language spoken in Papua New Guinea, which is indicative of the diversity of many cultures around us. Yet, we are way behind others as a major tourism destination. Why that is so is because there are fundamental issues that need addressing by the government and everyone else. The national cultural policy is result-driven with clear sector priorities and development plans. It is the intent of the policy to offer clear directions in planning and prioritizing cultural service delivery and development in the country. Equally, we want culture to be realized for its value and worth towards communities and its contributions towards nation building. Our goal for this policy is clear. That is, making culture the foundation for economic development because of its sustainable attributes and ever-present characteristics in all communities for sharing and enjoyment. Sustainable, endures, perpetuates, and will continue to exist in this country. Mr. Acting Speaker, policies are worthless if government fails to implement them. Hence, the government's intervention, especially the allocating of funds to carry out the programs and activities over the next 10 years is crucial. Funding this policy will cost 20 million per year, or 200 million over 10 years. Over the years, the cultural sector received negligible attention as shown by a lack of funding commitment. In fact, annual budget allocation to cultural institutions has always remained below 1% of the country's GDP, compared with that of other sectors. Mr. Acting Speaker, don't you think this House today should agree to give prominence to culture by increasing funding to the cultural sector? Certainly, 200 million over 10 years should not be too cumbersome for the nation. In summary, I emphasize again the importance of our cultures and traditions. The onus is on each and every one of us in this House to provide leadership that is seen to promote our rich cultural heritage and ensure this heritage is preserved and has a sustainable future. It is time we give our utmost priority to the cultural sector. We can do so by recognizing the importance of culture in our lives and the communities by implementing this policy. Mr. Acting Speaker, let me speak a little on the National Cultural Commission, as I have learned that this important cultural agency was once run down and headed for its demise. That is old history now, so to speak. We can be assured today that National Cultural Commission's problems are over, as it has, under new management, picked itself up and worked tirelessly, restoring pride, trust, credibility, and excellence back to its administration, and work over the last 3 years. This House can be assured that National Cultural Commission is in now capable hands with a better outlook for the future under the current management regime. Such is the National Cultural Commission's positive progress over the 3 years that the Department of Personnel Management recognized its achievement in awarding to its inaugural Best Performing Agency Head Award in January 2022. Over the 3 years, the National Cultural Commission has been associated with the delivering 77 cultural shows and festivals in the provinces. Its effort to even reach remote areas and working with local communities promoting shows has become a catalyst for development. And likewise, in some remote places, National Cultural Commission's presence brings together communities which have been separated by hostilities. Mr. Acting Speaker, in order for the policy to receive some measures of success in its implementation, the National Cultural Commission is aware of the important collaborative role of critical enablers, already conveniently covered by the National Cultural Policy. One missing link that should be providing critical interface between various stakeholders is an advisory body that advises the minister. Hence, my ministry will work with the government to establish a cultural advisory council, which will function to provide advice to the government and stakeholders on matters affecting art and culture in Papua New Guinea. Mr. Acting Speaker, such is the importance of critical enablers that the National Cultural Commission is seriously taking the necessary step to partner with provincial governments as the key drivers of this policy at the provincial level. Our provincial governments are responsible for cultural development in their respective provinces, linking with the local level governments, DDAs, and the local communities. After all, our local communities are the source of our cultural traditions, and therefore, culture should be promoted at their level to attract visitors and participation, and importantly, ensuring these traditions are safeguarded and preserved through the various modes of cultural expression and transmission. With this policy, Mr. Acting Speaker, the National Cultural Commission will be working with provinces to revive and develop provincial cultural centers, and it will ensure that each province has a provincial cultural development plan. At around the time of Papua New Guinea's independence and soon after, several cultural centers were operating in provinces. Except for Anga Cultural Center, the Takianda, that was started in 1974 and which has survived to this day with responsible management and very modern facilities. Most others have ceased to exist. Such is the importance of promoting our cultures in the provinces that the government will invest in money in cultural development programs and activities there. Mr. Acting Speaker, the National Cultural Commission, for the purpose of engaging the provinces, has started signing MOUs with them. To date, the National Cultural Commission has signed MOUs with 3 provinces for the delivery of cultural services, and taking this opportunity, I wish to acknowledge and congratulate the Central Provincial Government, the Milne Provincial Government, Anga Provincial Government, Medan Provincial Government, and West New Britain Provincial Government for recognizing the importance of partnership towards cultural service delivery and taking the path for cultural development in the respective provinces. Other provinces are encouraged to follow the initiative taken by the 5 esteemed provincial governments and engage with the National Cultural Commission for productive collaborations. Mr. Acting Speaker, I can confidently assure Parliament that the development of this cultural policy met all the prerequisite processes of policy development, from background research to institutional problem analysis. The National Cultural Commission's policy team has held provincial and regional consultations. Moreover, the policy was peer-reviewed by a number of reputable local and international experts before being endorsed by the National Cultural Commission Board and presented for stakeholders' validation. On Wednesday, the 28th of April 2022, the cultural policy was approved and endorsed by the National Executive Council after vetting by the Central Agency's Coordinating Committee. Mr. Acting Speaker, as Minister responsible, I am glad that the cultural policy has finally been developed under my watch. It is another one of the many positive achievements of the Mara Barroso government. It is therefore only proper that I take this opportunity thanking the Prime Minister for having the confidence in me. I wish to also acknowledge the leadership of Mr. Stephen Anom Kilanda, the Executive Director of the National Cultural Commission, whose resolute persistence made sure that the policy team at the National Cultural Commission delivers the policy. It took close to 2 years for the development of this document. Congratulations to all involved, and thank you to all stakeholders who have contributed. Mr. Speaker, I will end by reaffirming that Mara Barroso government fully supports the development of this policy and has guaranteed that government funding will be made available for its implementation over the 10-year period. This cultural policy highlights an exceptional achievement that is what reported in the People's House. Mr. Speaker, Acting Speaker, before me finish, let me conclude by saying this. On Tuesday, I went and officiated the opening of a cultural festival held at Abao. There, more than 7 tribes of people gathered to celebrate their culture, from children up to the elderly folks. Nothing else but their culture, their song, their dance, their chants, and their way of life. There is hope. We still have our culture. There is hope. This policy will drive that culture, monetize that culture, and realize its economic potential. Let's embrace it. Use our culture as one of the pillars for economic development in this country. And our people and this country will benefit. Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker.
Honorable members, the question is that the question be put. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. Ayes have it.
Mr. Speaker, I'm putting a point of order. I haven't heard your response.
Honorable members, leader of government business. Governor for Morobe, resume your seat.
Or question be put that there should be no debate.
Honorable Governor, resume your seat and I will explain. Honorable Governor and honorable members, the question was put, so that's why I accepted it. So, and I save it. Honorable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I apologize for the inconvenience caused to Governor Morobe and others who want to debate this. This juncture, I move that Parliament adjourn to tomorrow at 10 o'clock, please.
Honorable members, the question is that the motion be agreed to. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say no. I save it. Honorable members, the Parliament now is adjourned to tomorrow 10 a.m.